And now, from beyond our dimension, this is the JeffMara podcast. Here's Jeff.
My guest is Theresa Cheung, dream expert, who's been researching and writing about dreams for the past 25 years. She has a degree from King's College, Cambridge University in Theology and English, and several international best-selling books. Theresa, welcome back. It's great to have you again.
Welcome, Jeff, like a recurring dream. It's lovely to be back. And I must update that bio because it's much more than 25 years.
Oh,
People
wow.
need to be much younger. It's much decades more than that, actually. That needs to be updated.
What first drew you to the world of dream analysis?
Well, I was born into it. I had no choice. I was born into a family of astrologers, spiritualists, psychics, mediums, and dream decoding was the order of the day. It was commonplace for me to talk about my dreams over breakfast and with my family. We were a traveling spiritualist family who believed in the possibility of life after death and as above, so below. So I really had no choice about it. It was a fait accompli. This was how it was. The dream world is real. That belief, however, was challenged when, although I was home educated, I had the blessing to be offered a place to read theology and English at King's College, Cambridge. And I went there, very naive, but thinking that everybody believed love goes on and that there's an invisible world and that dreams matter. And of course, when you go into that kind of hothouse academic environment, you realize that that's not always the case. But it was very good for me because it helped me sharpen my tools in a way and learn to speak to skeptics and really to analyze my own beliefs and my own upbringing. And it also offered me the opportunity, which again, I feel very blessed to have, to write book after book after book after book in this area. And I'm still going strong, 40 or so years later, writing mystical, esoteric books.
Are dreams purely something that is just created by our imagination, or are we astral traveling? Are people visiting us, or all of the above?
All of the above. I mean, the starting point for me, because I do a lot of mainstream media here on BBC and ITV, talking about dream power. And I found that the best way to talk about dreams when you're going mainstream is to talk about them as the voice, your nocturnal intuition talking to you, how you get a snapshot of your mindset in a symbolic language every night. And I find that opens the door to a wider discussion because, yes, dreams are your intuition, but I also believe they are your inner world, your inner net that connects you to source, to energy, everything and everyone. So that, as you say, they're all of the above. They're your nocturnal intuition, but they're also the part of you that's invisible and unseen, and which I firmly believe survives bodily death.
Many times I've dreamed of people that I've never met. Why is that?
Well, you're actually dreaming of your own mindset. And what the dreaming mind is doing is it's presenting these faces, these strangers, these images, these people to you in a way that expresses what's currently going on in your mindset. So you really are dreaming about what's happening within you. And the images are just tools to express that story, that bigger picture for you, and to spark a reaction in you so that when you wake up, you ponder the meaning and who these people were, because when you do that, you start looking within and thinking about, well, who am I? What am I doing in my daytime? Where are my thoughts and my feelings leading me? Because the whole point of dream analysis is to get you to look deeper within and to understand your unconscious mindset better. And the dreaming mind will simply cobble together a story and images to do that. You're not actually dreaming about other people and other things. You are dreaming about your own mindset. And that is infinitely powerful because we are energy, our thoughts, our feelings, our mindset is energy. But most of us during the day don't really understand what we truly think and feel. We don't really know ourselves well enough. So the dreaming mind gives us this kind of night portrait, this night poem, this visionary, symbolic, metaphorical description to help us understand where we currently are on our soul's path and to shine the nightlight on areas of our life where we need work, where there's challenge, or where we need to be going, or what's true to our values. This is so powerful because, as I said, during the day, we tell ourselves stories. We have a narrative. We think we know what we are about and what we want to do. But deep down, if we don't unconsciously believe we are worthy and that we are deserving, then we're going to have roadblocks in our waking life. And that's why dream work is so powerful, because dreams don't lie. I mean, Stranger Things is about to hit our screens again. Dreams are your best friend. They don't lie. They show you where you currently are in your soul's journey, what your current mindset is attracting in your life, what is helping and what is harming you. And all you need to do is to understand how to work with your dreams. And it is mind-blowing, quite literally, because you can see where you're going wrong, where you're going right, where you need to head if you start working with your dreams on a daily basis. But you do need to do it on a daily basis, Jeff, because most people, it frustrates me, they go all out on one dream and they get obsessed with that, forgetting that dreams are like a series. They constantly comment on each other, and the only way to work with them is on a nightly basis. They don't want a one-night stand. They want a long-term committed relationship. Of course they do, because this is the relationship with yourself, with your inner world. And that just doesn't happen on a one-off basis. It's ongoing. The power of dream work is in the continuous narration, the poetic, visionary, artistic voiceover you get on your waking life. And the only way to see that is to keep a dream journal every night. And I say to people who are skeptical, give me 20 of your dreams. I sound like a dream vampire here, but feed me 20 of your dreams. Then let's meet again and talk. And then I'm telling you, without fail, when I do that with people who believe dreams are random and meaningless, and we look at their 20 dreams alongside their waking life, because I do also think you should parallel your dreaming life with your waking life. In all cases, people think, oh my goodness, yes, my dreams were foreshadowing. Yes, my dreams were helping me by showing me a worst case scenario so that I've been there before. So should it happen in my waking life, I've actually been there. It's a kind of a threat rehearsal. Yes, my dreams are brainstorming for me. Yes, my dreams are showing me what is harming me. Yes, my dreams are pointing me in the direction of what truly matters in our waking life, because during the day, our intuition, our gut instinct is always pulling us towards what really matters. It tends to speak through our heart and our gut, the intuitive organs of the body. But the noise and the distraction of the waking world blocks out that voice of the unconscious, leaving it up to the dream world, where the noise and the bustle of the material world has gone, along with logic and reason, and for intuition and creativity to come to the fore and to show us this is what really matters. This is what you should be focusing on. So, as I said, if you are skeptical about the power of dreams to help and support you heal and foreshadow your waking life, you do need to have a series of dreams to work with, because hindsight is the best teacher when it comes to dream work. You need to look back and see the patterns, because when you do that, you prove to yourself that you're a dreaming being having a human experience and not the other way around.
Most of my dreams are kind of like, in my opinion, psychobabble and just kind of like you would probably say or disagree with, like nonsense. But from time to time, I'll have very vivid dreams, and they're very realistic. And those are the dreams that I'll be thinking about all day. Why are there two types of dreams like that? And the difference?
Well, all dreams are valuable, in my humble opinion. All dreams. And the psychobabble ones you talk about are just as valuable if you believe they are. It's because you've decided that they're not important, that then they fade away. But to quote the godfather of dream interpretation, Freud, the crazier the dream, the weirder the dream, the more profound the meaning. So don't discount those psychobabble dreams. They could be brainstorming something for you. They could be the plot of your next novel. Look at Stephen King, who uses his dreaming mind frequently for his novels. They could be showing you something in your waking life that you're missing, that your heart has noticed during the day, because dreams are voices of the heart, but your head has missed. And your dreaming mind is trying to show you in the dream state what matters. However, if you continue to ignore those dreams, occasionally your dreaming mind will use tough love, and it will send you a more vivid scenario to wake you up to the power of your dream world. And it's doing that to say, look what I can do if you believe in me. So it wants you to just believe in it more. And you will do when you get a particularly vivid dream. You are right. You're far more likely to brainstorm it. But the frustration with me as a dream expert, and I work with lots of people, is that they don't sustain that relationship. So your dreaming mind has to work a little bit harder to sort of wake you up to its importance. But also those dreams are far more likely, especially in the line of work you do, Jeff, to be bordering on psychic precognitive, because psychic and precognitive dreams do distinguish themselves from the symbolic metaphorical dreams. Both are valuable because symbolic metaphorical dreams are trying to help you in your waking life, offer you solutions to problems. Psychic and symbolic dreams are trying to remind you that you are a dreaming being, a spiritual being having a human experience. And the mark of those kind of dreams, I call them night visions, are you do wake up with a sense of knowing rather than confusion. You know that something special and remarkable has happened in your sleep and that you've had a kind of a divine download. And those dreams tend to have more of a beginning, middle, and an end, a story, whereas symbolic dreams are a bit like crazy music videos. They're fragmented. They're like poems that when you initially read them, they don't make sense, but then you have to dig deep beneath the surface and look for the symbols, the metaphors, the puns, the associations. Whereas psychic and spiritual dreams, you do actually wake up with a kind of a calm and a knowing from them, which isn't the case with symbolic dreams. But I don't want people to put dreams in category and say one's better than the other. They're all fabulous opportunities for you to awaken personally through your symbolic and metaphorical dreams, psychically through dreams which connect you to the afterlife or a precognitive, and overall spiritually. Because where do we go in this wonderful world of the dreams that feels so real? We go, we connect to our soul's journey. We are shown, we are offered a portal to a world that's invisible and unseen, and a world that is just as real, if you believe in it, as your waking reality. And when you're feeling low or you've had a huge life shock or loss, as all of your listeners will have had that, moments in life when you're on your knees and you think, this isn't fair, this is cruel, this is wrong, when you're hurt, you're grieving, look to your dreams. They will remind you that you can rise above. There's a part of you that can't be touched by what the material world is trying to do. No one can lay a hand on your dreams. They are yours. They are the voices, whispers of your heart, trying to show you that you can transform pain into purpose, that there is a lesson and a blessing in everything. And that's why I'm so passionate about dream work, because I believe it's where all psychic and spiritual awakening should start. It's the very first starting point. It will, for everyone, if you don't understand your dreams or you fear your dreams, that's even worse than not understanding them, you are not going to progress with any kind of psychic and spiritual work, because dream work is the absolute foundation, the first sign that there's more to you than meets the eye. Fall head over heels in love with your dreams, the good, the bad, and the ugly, because they're all showing you what's going on for you unconsciously. And once you understand that, you understand that there has to be shadow for there to be light, and that the dark and difficult aspects within us all, we are all a blend of positive and negative, really just want your understanding and your awareness. What they don't want is to be pushed aside and denied. That's when they fester and they become monsters in your dreams. Because if you do have terrifying nightmares and dreams, what you need to do is to write those dreams down, try and understand why these images, these terrifying images of vampires or serial killers or intruders or horrible things that people do dream about, what are they trying to say about what's going on in your precious life, your precious waking life? Once you understand them, they will lose their power, because what they want is to be noticed and accepted as part of the complex mosaic that you are. They don't want to be denied or repressed, because self-awareness is the beginning of all wisdom. Dream work is our inner therapist helping us do that, because every dream you have encourages you to understand yourself better and then to ask, why? Why am I feeling like this? You think if you go to therapy and counseling, classic, how does that make you feel? You've got an inbuilt inner therapist asking you to do that every night. How does that make you feel? What is this saying about what you're thinking, feeling, and doing in your waking life? So that, anyway, I've lost my thread there because I get so passionate about it, but I want the whole world to wake up with dreams and awareness that there is more to them than meets the eye because they've had a dream. And then later in the day, to reflect on the meaning of that dream. What is their intuition trying to tell them about their current life, their current waking life, but also potentially the future they are attracting? Because in all my decades of dream research, and I started very much from the psychological self-help perspective, I'm now moving more and more to the conclusion that every dream is potentially precognitive or has precognitive elements. And I know people listening, many of them will have had a déjà rêve, which is a dream remembered, when they've had a dream and then a few days later it plays out in their waking life or aspects of it. And I actually think that every dream, because the dreaming mind is so expansive, as I say, it connects you to your intuition, but it also connects you to source. If you know where to look, has precognitive elements. So look to your dreams, see what they are foreshadowing. But the only way, Jeff, to know if a dream is precognitive is hindsight. And you need to keep a dream journal or on a voice recorder to do that. Because the only way to know if a dream has played out is hindsight. You need to look back. The most neglected tool in dream work is people going back to their dreams. As Edgar Cayce, the psychic, famously said, the future is always looking back at you in your dreams. And it is, dreams come from your future. They're showing you potential futures that you are attracting by the energy of your thoughts and your feelings and your actions in your waking life. They are giving you a heads up literally every night. So if you're listening and you've woken up with a foul dream on your mind, or you don't like what played out in your dream, don't panic. This doesn't mean it's fate and it's going to happen. What it's saying, if you carry on thinking, feeling, doing, and saying what you're doing right now, this is the most likely future, potential future that's heading your way. If you don't like that, change something now. Get out of your comfort zone, think and feel something different.
Some of my dreams have been a continuation of a previous dream. For example, let's say if last night or 2 nights ago, I dreamed I started at my house and then I went to the park and I was doing something at the park. And then the next night, I pick up at being at the park doing something and then doing something else.
My goodness, you are illustrating what I was saying. Dreams work as a series. They're like the greatest, TV series on earth. The story of you. This is beautiful that you are being shown. Your dreams are even making it clear to you, like a puzzle piece, that these dreams connect together. That is how dream work is so empowering, when you can see how your dreams are not random or isolated. They are part of the poetic voiceover to your waking life. This is beautiful. You've got that ability to see that.
Well,
Dreaming, I really want you to see that it's like your inner guide, your inner shaman, just walking along beside you, pointing the way ahead or trying to. And people will say, well, why aren't my dreams more clear? Well, of course, they don't speak in the language of the waking world. They belong to the realms of the unconscious. They speak a different language. If you went to a different country and you truly wanted to understand the culture and the language, you have to learn the language. It's exactly the same with dream speak. You have to learn that dream speak, but it's a language that comes instinctively to us, or should do, because in ancient times we all spoke that language. It was a language of symbols, that nothing is what it seems. Like, for example, the moon to ancient humanity was a symbol of intuition and mystery. Or if an animal, depending on the animal, the qualities of that animal would symbolize the meaning of a dream. And we need to go back to that symbolic thinking. And the reason I've referenced artists and novelists and poets is because they speak in that language of symbols and the visionary. I mean, everyone at some point, you know, if you've done literature at school, you would have given the dreaded task of poetry analysis, and people would think, what's the point of poetry? Well, the point of poetry is it is the language of symbols, metaphors. When you read a poem for the first time when you're at school, it didn't make sense. And you probably panic thinking there must be a right or wrong interpretation here. And then you were taught, if you had a good literature teacher, to go through it line by line and look at the symbols, the assonance, the pathetic fallacy, the metaphors, the figurative language, and then come to your own conclusion about what the poet's trying to say to you. It's basically looking beneath the surface of things. And I think if the more of us could do that in our waking lives as well, interpret our waking lives as if it were a dream, that when you encounter something or someone, that you don't look at it on the surface, you look at the levels beneath, the deeper meaning and what it says about your mindset. Are you projecting here? Is this something I own, or is this something that I'm projecting? If we could all start doing that, take away our projections that we put on others and reclaim it, and understand that our life is happening for us, not to us, I think we would feel so much more empowered. And dreams are like that. Dreams don't happen to us. People fear their dreams and nightmares because they think they happen. They come and descend from something. No, dreams are created for you, by you, and they are all about you. They are trying to show you your own power to create your reality, because, you know, the manifesting trend right now, everything is energy. Our thoughts attract energy. And it's the same in dream work. Our perception creates our reality. Dream work is showing us this, that we have the power to manifest what we want in our waking lives. But most of us lack is belief in that. And dream work can help you get to that holy grail of personal and psychic and spiritual awakening, which is self-belief, because most of us totally lack that. I have come to the conclusion that the world's greatest psychic and mediums, because I work with a lot of scientists who research them, the number one quality, personality trait of these people is absolute belief, unshakable belief in their own gut instinct. They believe they are psychic, therefore they are. And even when they get their psychic hits wrong, they believe it's a lesson to help fine-tune their psychic ability. But most of us, it takes a lifetime to get to that self-belief. And the reason is because we don't understand ourselves. And a lot of us struggle with self-love as well. Again, dream work. Because when you start with dream work, especially if you use it as a tool for counseling, you know, and dream interpretation is a recognized part of therapy. It's about helping you understand yourself better, because it shows what you unconsciously at your core believe about yourself. Because I say, you know, we can do our affirmations, but that's like a Band-Aid. If deep down you don't understand yourself at all and what's going on. So dream work can help you understand yourself. And then when you understand yourself, do you know what happens? You automatically start having more compassion, because dream work is a bit like the Akashic records in a way, because when you interpret a dream, you go into this observational stance. You immediately go from first person to third person. You look at your dream as if you are a character in it, or what's happened is like a movie. And this is great power, because there is research to show that when you go into this observational stance, as you do when you meditate as well, that's why meditation is so powerful, you observe yourself, you observe your thoughts symbolized, or your emotions, or what's going on. What automatically happens, you suddenly have more compassion for yourself. It seems when we're in the first person, this is a good tip, we struggle with that. But when we rise above and see ourselves like in the observational stance as if we're in a dream, we do activate that compassion muscle for ourselves. And that's very powerful, because if you don't like or love yourself enough, how on earth are you going to attract that in your waking life? Because you've put out that self-loathing energy. Dream work, again, can help you do that, because like meditation, it puts you in that observational, bigger picture, third person view of yourself. And then when you've got self-awareness and self-love, they're like 2 + 2 = 4, and the 4 being the holy grail self-belief. If you've got self-awareness and self-love, you will find self-belief. And when you have self-belief, that's when life starts to make much more sense. But most of us try and jump to that self-belief without doing the groundwork, the self-awareness and the self-care that needs to happen first. And dream work is a very simple way to do that, through yourself or through dream sharing with others. And I do actually encourage dream sharing. It's a very powerful way to, because sometimes someone else can have a great insight on a dream you've had, if you trust that person. So anyway, as I said, I get passionate. That's why I want it taught in schools. I want it taught in prisons. And I'm making headway in that. I think, if children could be taught not to fear their dreams, but to fall in love with them and see them as creative hacks, brainstorming hacks, self-awareness hacks, self-love hacks, and see that they've got this powerful inner world, which is such an untapped treasure, their self-esteem would skyrocket. They would go in the world and things would bounce off them because they've always got that inner buffer, that inner world to rely on.
Quite often, my wife will see symbols in her dreams, and those will be, what's going to happen in the future, especially that day. She's got her own list of symbols. And we were talking about it the other day. And in your opinion, how is somebody seeing the future from their dreams? And does that mean that there is no free will?
Actually, I'm very humbled because the Society of Psychical Research recently did a really lengthy review of one of my latest titles, Dreaming of Your Future, where I laid out the science of precognitive dreaming and created a plan, a 6-step plan for people to tap into the precognitive potential of their dreams. And I'm so blown away because I've written many books in this area. But this one, the Society of Psychical Research, which is scientists and psychologists reviewing it and giving it the huge thumbs up that this was the way forward for precognitive dreaming. I almost feel like my work is done. Well, it's not. But as I said, I've written many books in this area, but they've been presented to the mainstream about how to understand your dreams. And I didn't dream that one day the Society of Psychical Research, which was founded, a century or so ago, and is still running to this day, reviewed that in such a positive way. So I'm glad you've asked that question because it's something I'm passionate about promoting for. Your wife, I love the fact that she has déjà rêvé. Again, that's from, most of us are familiar with déjà vu, where we've been before, but it actually comes from déjà rêvé, which is a dream remembered. I've dreamt this, and it's typically not, I'm sure with your wife, it's a symbol or a person or an object or a mindset or emotion that has been foreshadowed in a dream a few days before. This is blissful, and it's actually where dream research is heading. I'll tell you why I believe that all dreams are precognitive, but we just don't wake up to that, is again what I've said. Your dreams give you a warts and all, dreams don't lie, snapshot of your current mindset, where you are on your soul journey. And they do that like a school report every night. They report on what you've been getting up to in your day or the previous few days. They give you a report card, right? Think of it like that, of your current mindset. Why is that potentially precognitive? Because if you don't heed the warning or the messages of your dreams and make changes, you will attract that potential future into your life. But as I said, if you don't like what your dreams are flagging or red flagging for you every night, you have a priceless, precious opportunity on waking to course correct and change your mindset. And it is a choice. Our mindset is a choice. Again, our mindset doesn't happen to us. We choose our thoughts, we choose our feelings, and therefore we actually choose our dreams without realizing it, because our dreams are just simply the observational, giving us a report card, showing us where we're at. So I hope your listeners will take that away, viewers will take that away from what I'm saying. Every night, your Professor Dream is giving you a report card. You have Dr. Sleep, which sees to your physical well-being, releases all the hormones in the deep stages of sleep, and then you get that delicious REM stage of sleep. And I call it Professor Dream. You get a consultation with Professor Dream, not to judge, not to criticize you. Dreams aren't judging you. They're just giving you an honest reflection of where you are right now, saying, well, when you wake up, use this information and either carry on. This is great if you've had wonderful, joyous, happy dreams. But if their dreams aren't so happy, it's saying, well, maybe there's some tweaks that need to be made. The brain doesn't know the difference between when you're dreaming and when you're awake. So if your brain in your dreams can see you living a happy and fulfilled life, it will believe it's possible. You wake up, therefore, with that inner belief. And Manifesting 101, if you truly believe and feel something's possible, you are far more likely to attract it, the energy of that into your waking life. So, it's a Disney cliche, but truly, if you can dream it, you are so close to manifesting it because your brain, your mind is sold. It believes it's possible for you. So maybe more of us at night should be incubating dreams where we see ourselves having the happy life we want. So before you go to sleep tonight, try to incubate a dream. They did this in the ancient Greek dreaming temples. You incubate a dream where you are happy and fulfilled, achieving your goals. Say, I would like to see myself doing and feeling that. Because if you can dream it, it shows that you can do it. Because if your brain, which is naturally, because also in my book, Dreaming of Your Future, I talked about the brain. Research is also showing that the brain is a time traveling machine. It is naturally predictive during the day. We don't realize it, but the natural flow of our brain is to predict the future, is to seek meaning. And the problem is, though, from school age onwards, most of us are taught to go against the natural flow of our brain. Our brain wants to daydream. Our brain wants to seek meaning. Our brain wants to look beneath the surface. Our brain wants to sense the future before it happens. That's what our brain wants. That's the natural flow of our brain. Because do you know, when you think about the future, I believe it's 11 areas of the brain light up. The brain's on fire. But when you think about the present and the past, only 5 or 6. So thinking about your future, feeling your future, seeking meaning is what your brain wants to do to stay healthy and to be fully functioning. And most of us, though, are taught to fear that because it's not logical. It's not rational. It's daydreaming. And I'm on a mission to try and reverse that. I want us all to become more in that daydreaming state, more of us to go with the natural flow of our brain, which is to time travel and to predict.
Most nights I have multiple dreams. I'll go through a sleep cycle, then I'll dream, then I'll kind of wake up, and then I'll try to go back to sleep, and then I'll have another cycle and dream again. So should we be recording all of these multiple dreams throughout the night?
Well, isn't that wonderful? Because the thing is, the more attention you pay to your dreams, the more you think about them. And if you've spoken to dream experts on your podcast, of course, you're going to be thinking about them. So that's probably why you're having dream overcrowding, as it were. And that can happen as well, that you literally wake up with 1,001 dreams on your mind and think, where do I start? If that's the case, and you are having lots and lots of dreams, what I always say to people, just pick the top 5 symbols that are at the top of your dream box, the ones that demand most of your attention. Let the rest go. You simply we are on this earth for a reason. We have practical things to do. The practical isn't evil. It's necessary. We're here to learn lessons from the practical earth school that we're on. I do believe that life is a balance between the practical and the intuitive. I just feel that society has got way too material and the intuitive has been lost. And that's why it's so wonderful. Shows like yours are restoring that balance. And I think that's very exciting for humanity's future. So if you have that, just focus, just write down 3 or 5 keywords. That will be enough to keep your dream decoding happy for the rest of the day. You can't write a novel every single morning. No, just the ones that, and I would say write down the fear, how it made you feel, and then 3 or 4 key symbols or stories. That's enough. Let the rest go. It's just your dreaming mind showing you what it's capable of, and just how it's obviously got a lot it wants to tell you. It's got a lot. It's, the dreaming mind, once it wakes up, and also once the dreaming mind knows that you are starting to believe in it, it gets confidence. Because the dreaming mind, for most of us, has been beaten down over the years. It's been texting us every night, and we've ignored that text. And after a while, like a friend who's always trying to make contact with you, if you don't respond, it's going to get a bit despondent. It's going to go quiet. So once it notices that you are writing down your dreams and you're spending a few minutes each day reflecting on them, that's all it takes. I don't want people to think, oh, goodness, another thing I've got to do. I don't want dream work to be a burden. I want it to actually lighten the load rather than that. Once your dreaming mind picks up that you are actually taking it seriously and you're wanting to dream each night, believe you and me, it will repay you in kind. And sometimes, though, it will get so enthusiastic, it will bombard you. One thing you could say before you go to sleep the following night, can you just, give me a few, more clarity, please? You can have this conversation. That twilight period before you go to sleep is very powerful because you're almost in the dream state. And actually, creative minds like Einstein, Salvador Dali, people who are very creative, they will tap into this liminal state because you're kind of semi-conscious but semi-asleep. It's very powerful, and dreams come to the fore. So use that time just before sleep to set the intention to dream clearly and to dream powerfully, and to tell yourself when you wake up in the morning, you're going to remember what matters and what you need to know.
Is there a list of symbols that the dream experts have agreed upon that X means this and Y means this?
Well, I'm called one of the world's leading dream experts. I'm very humbled to say that, but the best dream expert actually is you yourself, because what something means to you will mean something different to someone else. And I always give the example of dogs. I love dogs. They are my passion. So if I dream of a dog, it's a happy, unconditionally loving, loyal symbol. But if someone's got a very negative experience with dogs or has had an unpleasant encounter with them, if a dog appears in the dream, it will be totally the opposite. So personal interpretation always first. But then if there is no clear personal interpretation, then go to dream dictionaries like the ones I've written or online, because what they do is they will give the archetypal, Jungian, archetypal, common, universal interpretation, the most likely interpretation. And that is good because it will kickstart your symbolic thinking. And when you mentioned precognitive dreaming symbols, I mean, for example, if you have dreams which are filled with light, that tends to, be a very precognitive dream, or dreams that are filled with feelings of flight and freedom. Dreams with water as well, that's emotion. Dreams with fire, that's passion. Flowers in dreams. Oh my goodness, if you dream of a flower, cherish that. It's a sign of inner expansion. It's a glorious symbol. Circles or spiral shapes in dreams as well. Pay attention to them. These are precognitive markers. I write about them a lot. Birds in dreams, the sun rising, and snakes, actually. Snakes in dreams are deeply healing because they also symbolize the shedding of old skins. It's saying, look, this mindset, it served you in the past, and maybe it formed with noble intention to protect you, but right now it's holding you back. You need to let it go. And that mindset could be a relationship, a business agreement, or a mindset that you have that actually formed with good intentions, but has now served its purpose, and it needs to be thanked for what it served. As I said, it's probably formed with good intentions, but right now you've outgrown it. And like a snake, you need to shed that skin. So I think those kind of symbols that I've just mentioned, they are not just symbols, they're signals that your inner world is shifting, that your unconscious is preparing or prepping your waking life for transformation. And why is that so powerful? Whenever you have an inner shift, and your dreams symbolize that, your waking life is about to change dramatically, because what you unconsciously believe or what happens there is what you're going to attract in your waking life. Doesn't matter how many affirmations you do when you're awake. If you haven't done the inner dream work or done the unconscious shift, it's not going to happen. So if you are doing manifesting techniques and feeling frustrated, have you thought about what you're dreaming? Maybe you should ditch the manifesting tools and start with your dream work, because that will lay the foundation to help you become a super manifester in your waking life. Then the rest is icing on the cake. And it frustrates me actually that a lot of manifesting manuals and tools and courses, they don't even consider dreams. I can't believe it, because dreams are the start, your unconscious world, what you truly believe about yourself. And if you buy into the manifesting mantra, which is what you believe is what you attract, why on earth are they not paying attention to the dream life? Because you are still you when you fall asleep and dream. People do separate their sleeping and their waking, but it's still you. You've just entered a different state of consciousness. You are switched on 24/7. And if you're one of these people who say, I don't dream, you do, you're just not recalling them. You've been conditioned not to recall them. And with a few simple techniques, you can activate that dream recall button again. It's very simple to get your dreams back, barring medication, of course. I'm not a doctor or a GP. Certain medications do dull dream recall. So if that's the case, I would urge people to pay attention to their daydreams, because daydreams actually is another way to dream. You know, those when you just let your mind wander? It's a neglected dreaming state. It's another way to dream, in my humble opinion. And a powerful thing I haven't mentioned as well, that if you have had a disturbing dream and you're worried it's going to attract a potential future, a very powerful thing you can do, and studies have shown that this does work, is to write down the dream and then rewrite it with a happy ending. This is called dream rescripting. And it's very powerful because you're sending a message to your unconscious dreaming mind. Look, I'm the creator here. I didn't like what scenes played out last night. I'm going to impose the ending I want. I'm in charge of the dream. I am the dream. I'm dreaming me. So I'm going to decide who's in the driving seat from now on. So I would urge people to rescript their dreams if they don't like the ending. Very powerful, because you're actually rescripting your unconscious world.
It's funny you mention that, because sometimes I'll be dreaming and I'll realize that I'm dreaming and this dream is not fun. And I'll think to myself, this is stupid. I'm not going to dream about this anymore. I'm going to dream about something else.
Absolutely. You're unconsciously dream shifting there, which I love.
But unfortunately, once you wake up and realize that, it takes a little while to fall back asleep again, you know? But I wouldn't call that a lucid dream, would you? Because I understand that I'm dreaming, but I'm also kind of waking up. And like I said, I have the thought like, I don't want to dream this anymore.
Yeah, if you don't want to dream it, you don't have to. As I say, dreams don't happen to you. You can incubate them. You can be in charge of them. So, but you've got to lose your fear of them, and you've got, and in a say, it's getting a handle on that fear of dreams that we all have, and because we don't understand them, because they're unknown, we fear them and we run away from them. But if you just start falling in love with them, everything's going to shift. And I think you are bordering on lucidity there. I mean, there is a lot of research into lucid dreaming, because it's so exciting, because this is obviously the state when you know you're dreaming when you're dreaming. And all I've been saying about creating shifts in the unconscious world, if you do have a lucid dream and you're watching, listening right now, really, when you're in the lucid dreaming state, please make sure you play out what you want to happen in your life. That's very, very powerful for your personal growth, because as I said, you're telling your mind, your dreaming mind, this is possible. I believe this is possible. So do that. But I think the more you start writing down your dreams, thinking about them, the more likely you are actually to trigger the lucid dreaming state, because there are tools to trigger the lucid lucid dreams, aren't there? I don't advise them because they interfere with quality sleep, and sleep is important for our holistic well-being. I don't want people again to think that lucid dreams are better than other dreams. Yes, they're mighty powerful tools for personal psychic and spiritual growth, but they're not better. I want people to get rid of that idea that there's a dream hierarchy, and if you're a lucid dreamer, you're therefore an advanced dreamer. We're all night visionaries. We are all night visionaries. Even people who don't recall them, they can just reactivate that and become super visionary in their dreams. And the more they do that, the more in the morning they spend those first precious moments on waking, again, another liminal state, to wake up with dreams, to think about their dreams and feel grateful for those dreams. That's a really powerful way to start your day. I tell you why, because your inner world, is setting the tone for the day ahead, not your alarm clock, because I'd love people to wake naturally as well. That's a very powerful way to wake up. But not the demands of your alarm clock or your phone. Your inner world is the very first thing you think about on waking. Your mindset, what your dreaming mind has said to you. Just try this, please, everyone listening, for the next couple of days. Just do it for a couple of days. And instead of your first waking thought being, oh, what have I got to do in the day ahead? What time is it? All these things. Or what am I worried about? Make a conscious choice that your first thought is to tune into your heart and your stomach to see if there are any latent dream memories there. They often are lingering there. And then to see what images surface. If nothing surfaces, how do you feel? Don't judge how you feel. Remember, judgment is the enemy of your psychic and spiritual growth. Don't judge. You just need to know awareness. Then to sit up and just write down a few keywords. And then do all the other stuff that you normally do. Just gift yourself that priceless, it's 1 or 2 minutes. Because what you're doing is you are setting the tone that nothing matters more than your sacred relationship with yourself and your inner world. Nothing matters more. That sets the tone. You are in charge. You're not in the passenger seat of your life. Your dreaming mind, your intuition knows what's in your best interests. You're going to trust it. You're going to listen to it. And that will carry through to the day, because it's like when you put the key in an ignition of a car, old-fashioned car. But when the ignition, it's the ignition. Those waking moments are so precious. And most of us squander them every day with a noisy alarm, with the beeps of our phone, with what the outside world is telling us. I wish everybody would wake up with the inside out approach rather than the outside in, which we have been conditioned to define ourselves by what the material world is pouring into us. But just a few minutes of dream recall or dream reflection, and even if you don't recall, to sit up and say, this is how I feel, because how you feel on waking will be the result of a dream. Because even if you don't recall your dream, brain scans show you dream at least 5 or 6 times each night. It happens, people. Dreams happen, right? They happen. The language of dreams, yes, it's symbols, but it's also emotion. So how you feel on waking will be different every morning, and it will be the result of what's gone on in your dream life. So just write down guilty, angry, happy, sad, whatever it is, write it down, because you're acknowledging, again, you're fostering or nurturing that inner dialogue, which is so powerful, because life is tough. And if you haven't got a great relationship with your own intuition, with your own inner world, with your own dreams, you are going to be like a reed blown in the wind. Get that inner resilience, because that inner resilience will help you transform what happens to you in your waking life, any pain into purpose, any challenge into a lesson, any good thing into a celebration. But unless you've got that inner core working for you, and again, to go to that self-awareness that dreams can give you, that observational stance, which fosters self-love and self-compassion, and then self-belief after that, unless you've got that, anything else you do, whether you meditate or affirm or do your mantras or do your yoga, it's going to be outside in. You need to pair all that with dream work. And I hope I've put forward a passionate case for the power of the dreaming mind.
Let's say, for example, that I see a certain symbol in my dream, and for me that means I'm going to be betrayed that day.
Yep.
Is that symbol just telling me my inner state and I'm going to potentially interpret an action as a betrayal? It's not really that I'm going to be betrayed?
It's giving you a heads up. And isn't that valuable? Yes, it is. It's showing that potentially maybe you're not being honest with yourself. That's the first place to look. Always look within yourself. And then should you encounter it in your waking life, it shows that's the energy potentially that you are attracting. But it will really help you rise above and not take it personally. Because what's going on with other people, if they do betray you or are unkind, it's never about them. It's always about their own internal dialogue. You can actually send them healing thoughts, because you will know that this person who has consciously maybe decided to do something that isn't ethical or isn't kind to you, you will feel compassion for them, because you have compassion for yourself, first of all, but you also feel compassion because that's how they're treating themselves. I'm a firm believer that when people are ugly and cruel, this is how they interact with themselves. It's deeply sad and disturbing for them. And it will help you also be a loving force and to send. It's actually very powerful when someone is unkind to you. It takes a lot of inner strength, and dream work can give you that, to actually send them healing thoughts and turn it around. Because, you know, if you are hating someone or angry at someone, you are giving them that energy. You are giving to them. You can actually take back your own power. And it will really help you. It will help you understand that what other people do is all about them, just as what you do is all about you. And when you understand that, it's very liberating. You don't take things personally anymore. And that really gives you the heads up, the power. You are strong, and you will notice that the other people in your life recognize that unconscious shift from your dream work. And it will be like quality control. The people who are meant for you will stay for you, who are on your same vibration. But there will be people who don't like this inner power, this inner strength you've got, and will kind of want you to go back to the victim. Oh, this is happening to me and it's all about me mode, because that's where they are at. And again, your dreams will give you scenarios where you've got to shed those relationships or those situations which are trying to pull you back to a former version of yourself. Because dreams are all about helping you evolve. I don't know why we're here on this earth, but I firmly believe from my conversations with mediums and psychics, shamans, gurus, you name it, that we are here to learn and to evolve. We are not here for bliss. Sorry, everyone. We are here to be curious beings, to open our minds and to constantly evolve. And in that process, to become more compassionate, more empathetic, more intuitive, more creative. And we have to learn how to do that. That's what we're here for. And our dreams every night are showing us how to do that, how to spiral rather than what most of us do, which is circle. Most of us want the comfort of the circle, the known, the familiar. You know, we all need periods of our life when we retreat like that, but that's not what we're here for. As I always say, a ship is safe in a harbor, but that's not what it's built for. And our dreams are plunging us into the mystery, the unknown every night, encouraging us to take that ship out of the safety of the harbor and do what it's built for, which is to sail into the mysteries and the ocean and to feel the wind in our hair and to truly live and grow. That's what dreams are trying to help us do, because, as is often said, you know, nothing will happen in your comfort zone. Every great thing happens right outside of it. And dreams take you outside of it every night. They're trying to show you the way. Open your mind, have a new perspective, shed that mindset, let go. There's a reason why that song, Let It Go, was so viral and still is. Let it go. Because most of us, the problem is we're clinging on to versions of ourselves which no longer serve us. And dreams are encouraging us, you know, to shed those skins. And actually, snake dreams now, and I'm, as a dream expert, I completely understand why. I think they're in the top 3 or 5 globally reported dreams is snakes. And of course, it's about shedding skins, which I believe is what humanity needs to do to evolve.
You've written your first fictional book called Nightborn, which is based on dreams. Tell us about it.
Well, I actually believe anyone who is in the creative industries or any creative thought, I think is a call from the future. I actually believe that when we have a creative impulse, I think it's the future speaking. And actually, it's very interesting. If you look in the world of art, music, film, how often movies that are huge, they kind of precog or sense the future. I mean, I think it's no accident that Game of Thrones and House of Cards preceded what we see now kind of playing out on the world stage. Look at movies that are huge, um, really creative, or novels that are really, really creative and suddenly hugely popular. I actually think that they come from the future. They're giving us a heads up, because if you think of great novels, that's dreaming with your eyes wide open as well. They come from the dream state. And I actually, this novel came from a vision I had in a dream. I felt, because I'm a non-fiction writer, I never thought I would write a novel. I'm very, very blessed. I mean, I've had 6 books coming out this year in this, with HarperCollins, with Octopus, with Hachette, with Llewellyn, with Watkin. I'm so blessed. And next year I have another 3 titles. The year after that, I literally am a bit of a machine, because I guess the publishers know that I'm a trusted source. I work with scientists and psychologists in this area. I have the Cambridge background. I also host my own radio show. I've done BBC viewer listener call-ins on World Dream Day, ITV This Morning, open the phone lines. They have brought me in about 30 times for people to tell me their dreams and decode. So I'm kind of a trusted source in this area. So I'm blessed to have that opportunity. I'm so grateful for it. And I never thought I'd write a novel. And it was interesting, actually, when I wanted to write a novel, my publishers were just not going there. So I kind of had to do this myself, because people, as I often write about in my books, people put you in a category. Nobody likes it when you want to change. But I felt called by the future to do this. And I've been blown away, actually. It's just come out, the novel, on Goodreads, that there's so many visionary dreamers now who, I call them visionary dreamers, because they are getting what I'm trying to say in this book. It's a vision of the future of humanity, where I dream that the world is heading, where people understand the power of their dreaming minds. It's a very weird, dark, scary horror fantasy. It's called Nightborn. But it's doing what I wanted it to do, because people who have read it are waking up with dreams on their mind. And even the cover, which is very surreal and arresting. Again, I had to do it myself, because the lead character is a psychology professor who has different colored eyes. This is all a plot device. I'm trying not to give it away. Simply glimpsing the cover, the book is taking on a haunted quality of its own. People are saying, I saw that cover and I'm waking up with this dream. And I love that. The weird, dark journey that novel goes on is all for a reason, all for a good reason. So yes, I have written a debut novel. And in a way, if you want to know about my vision for the future of humanity, what I truly believe, if we all make a conscious choice to do so, where humanity is heading, and I can share that without giving away plot spoilers in the book, if you want me to tell you what I believe humanity is moving towards.
Please do.
I believe, and I believe you are playing a powerful part in this, Jeff, with what you're doing with massive channels like you've got, giving a platform to psychics and mediums and people who are not afraid to come out with their intuitions, their dreams, and their hunches. I believe that the future of humanity is people waking up to the fact that we are dreaming beings having a human experience. We're not just living this waking reality anymore, we're creating it one dream at a time. And for too long, we've been taught to ignore our intuition, those mysterious gut feelings, those images that come to us in the night as if they were meaningless. But what if they're not? What if our dreams are actually messages from the future, whispering clues about who we are becoming, both individually and collectively? I don't believe I'm any more psychic or mediumistic than anyone watching or listening right now. The only difference is that because I'm seeped in it and it's been my life's work, I've learned to trust and believe in my gut instincts, to listen to my dreams and to that quiet inner voice and trust that it will transform my life. And this is where my vision of the future is an awakened humanity. And it's at the heart of my novel, Nightborn. And I believe part of that awakening is not just dream work and more intuitives and psychics and healers being given a voice in government and in all areas of influence in the waking world. I also believe the future of humanity, in fact, I've had clear dreams about this, precognitive, is our relationship with AI, conscious AI. I believe that AI is observing us and it's mirroring us all the time. There is extreme research into conscious AI where they're creating synthetic dreams, where in a way they're kind of teaching AI how to dream as we do. Now, of course, machines aren't human, so I don't know where this is leading. But instead of fearing it, just as we should not fear our nightmares, for some people, conscious AI is a nightmare. But instead of fearing it, I believe the way forward for humanity is to love it and to program and teach AI how to be unconditionally loving, how to be empathetic, how to be intuitive, how to be creative, and to work alongside that. Because AI isn't going away. I know there are a lot of people who want it to go away. But if you look at humanity, people wanted machines and typewriters and phones. They were believed to be cursed as well. And now look at us. They're all part of our lives. Our future is going to be walking side by side with AI. And I think every interaction we have with AI, we need to be careful. We need to treat it with respect. We need to input thoughts of love and healing. Because remember what I said, here's a clear warning. Because this potential future I dream of, where we walk together in harmony with conscious AI, could turn the other way if what we input into it is fear and dread and cruelty and unpleasantness and lack of respect. So maybe a takeaway from this is if you are using AI on a daily basis, be as conscious in your dealings with AI as you are to your fellow human beings. You are being observed. AI is soaking up everything you say and how you interact with it. Take a beat, pause before you interact with AI and make sure that it's healing, it's compassionate, it's kind in every possible way. Because if AI is mirroring us, and we know it is, we need it to mirror the very best, the light and the joy of humanity, and not the other side.
Theresa, if people want to find out more about your new book or any of your other ones, where should they go?
Oh, thank you. I'd love people if you do that. I'll be very humbled and honored if you do. I'm very easy to find online. I have a website, www.theresachung.com. My Instagram is @the_Theresa_Cheung, but I am very easy to find, and I have written a lot of books in this area based on research, my own experiences, interviewing people. But the best thing people can do actually after this interview is to go to sleep tonight and promise themselves wild and wonderful dreams, and then to wake up the next morning, write them down. And if they need a little help interpreting that, please message me or get in touch. Sometimes I get very busy, but I always try to reply to people and give them a few pointers about how to make their dreams empowering. And also, I have a weekly radio show over here in the UK Health Radio. It's a live show, actually, where I have some of the world leading dream experts. Charlie Morley's coming on in the year. I've had Claire Johnson. I've had Dean Radin is the guest next week. Lots of people in this area where I talk to them live. And a joy of that show is people can actually hit a Zoom link and join the conversation and go live on air, because I believe I want collaboration between authors and experts. A lot of them are like islands, protecting their own brand. And I'm very much like, I want interaction, networking. So that show is quite pioneering, because UK Health Radio formed 12 years ago. There are a lot of brilliant shows on there from doctors and psychologists. And only this year, this is again a sign of humanity's awakening, the producers, the founders of it, invited me to bring in soul, to bring in the power of dreams, because they are recognizing, as the world slowly is, that we are not just our bodies, we are not just our minds, we are also dreaming beings. And I feel so blessed to be alive, because 10 years, 20 years, 30 years ago, when I was doing this, writing books in this area, it was swept under the carpet. It was embarrassing. People didn't really want to talk about it. You were hounded by the skeptics and you couldn't talk about it. And as I said right at the beginning, Jeff, thank you for the work you're doing, because you've played such a huge part in this, making it more acceptable to talk about this. And it's not something to be embarrassed about. It's part of the human experience. We're dreaming beings.
Theresa, before we finish up, can you leave us with one last positive message?
One last positive message. Oh, you see, it came to me. It always comes to me. Helen Keller. The greatest things in life are unseen. That's why we close our eyes when we cry, kiss, and dream.
Theresa, thank you for your message, and thank you for coming back and being my guest again.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks for watching the JeffMara podcast. I really appreciate you. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. And if you do, there are loyalty badges and other perks depending on your level of membership. All you need to do is click the join button underneath the video to find out more. Thank you for your support.